Welcome back. Amazon says it will be eliminating thousands of corporate jobs as it looks to further invest in AI. Our Mackenzie Sagalos has more on the areas of the business that'll be most affected. Morning, Mac.
Hey, good morning, Carl. So this is the latest chapter in Amazon's multi-year efficiency drive, which is largely focused on hollowing out layers of middle management. Now, the company is cutting 14,000 white-collar jobs, or about 4% of its corporate workforce, with layoffs hitting teams across the business. Employees in its video games, grocery, HR, comms, ads, and devices units were informed of cuts early this morning, but layoffs are expected to touch nearly every area of the business. Amazon's HR chief also suggesting in a blog post this morning that more job cuts are coming through 2026. And if the total hits 30,000, as Reuters reports, this would be the largest corporate layoff in Amazon's history. Now, the company says it is streamlining to move faster and shifting resources to its biggest bets. And right now, that means data centers, chips, and the infrastructure needed to compete in those hyperscaler wars. It's all part of a broader reckoning across the Mag 7. Tech giants are pouring billions into AI while quietly acknowledging that they'll need fewer workers to sustain that growth. Meta's year of efficiency has become an industry blueprint. You've got Google cutting 35% of small team managers in the last year. Microsoft shed 15,000 roles this summer alone. And then Amazon CEO Andy Jassy, he said this June that generative AI will shrink their headcount. Since 2022, Amazon has already cut more than 27,000 jobs, and it's now on pace to spend more than $120 billion just this year on CapEx to compete in those cloud wars. And then in the background, internal documents showing Amazon plans to automate 75% of its operations by 2033, potentially avoiding 600,000 new warehouse hires. So, Carl, the message is clear here. AI may be boosting stocks, but it's thinning out the employment ranks.
Yeah, there was a good chart today out of Goldman looking at hyperscaler CapEx going higher, obviously, and buybacks and dividends as a result going lower. I wonder if you think the news today that you mentioned suggests that maybe consensus on hyperscaler CapEx is still too light.
Well, and that's what we're going to be looking at this week. You've got Amazon reporting on Thursday, Google on Wednesday. And
All right. The reason I wanted to talk about this is because yesterday we just did a video on Walmart stock, right? And we talked about Walmart. Please go check that video out if you have not seen it. I believe it was a very, very good video, very informational. And there's just a lot we should be paying attention to with Walmart stock, I believe, over the course of the next 20 to 30 years. And why I'll be buying Walmart stock every single week for the rest of my days, right? But I thought it was a good contrast to talk about Amazon because yesterday I mentioned Amazon along with Walmart because I said that Walmart was scaling up, right? They were scaling up their business and they were trying to get on par and reach the levels and do the type of business that Amazon is doing as far as their e-commerce sales, as far as their growth technology in implementing AI in their business. They're trying to upscale, right? Walmart is no longer just a grocery retailer. They're not just your typical retailer that you go to like Target. Walmart is leaps and bounds ahead of Target, and they're getting to a place to where they're trying to organize their infrastructure and change things so that it matches and can compete with companies like Amazon directly. Make no mistake about it. Walmart is very aware of the consumer presence for Amazon, and they want a piece of that pie. Now, I wanted to talk about Amazon today because the word is on the street that they are preparing to lay off anywhere from 14,000 to 30,000 employees. Okay. A lot of these jobs, as we just heard them say right here in this clip, is that they're targeting middle level managers for the company, right? And they're doing this because they're looking to implement more AI technology within the business to take the place of those jobs. And I don't know why people get so why people are so confused and why this is such a conundrum for people of why businesses are looking to implement more AI. This was going to come. This was going to happen regardless, right? This was going to happen regardless. There's nobody's fault that this is happening. Let's put this into perspective, okay? Let's put this into perspective for 1 second. Let's say that you are one of the lead managers or one of the lead designers for a company. You have been hired to come in and figure out how to increase profits and reduce cost. That has been your job, to figure out how to increase profit and reduce the cost of doing business. In other words, your bottom line. We brought you in to figure out how to reduce how much we're paying out every single month and increase our bottom line, because everything always comes down to the money with these corporations. Make no mistake about it. The corporations that got out here and convinced y'all that they were doing all of this because they care about their employees and they care about the people, those are the businesses that really those are the ones that finessed y'all. Yeah, the companies like Lowe's, Home Depot, the ones that led with their branding and their marketing, talking about how much they care about the employees and how much they care about the customers first. Make no mistake about it. They led with that to get you in the door, whether it was as a worker or a shopper. But once you're in there, we got you. And do not misconstrue the idea that a business isn't about their money, that they're about the customer first. No, we're money focused first with the business. And if you're somebody that I just hired and brought in here to figure out how to reduce expenses and increase profits, what's one of the biggest expenses for a business? Payroll. Yeah. How can we reduce payroll? How can we implement a system in here that's going to cut our workforce in half, or at least a third of our workforce, so that we can take those profits? We don't have to pay out. Y'all understand how much it costs for payroll? We're talking about insurance, and we're not just talking about your salaries. We're not just talking about salaries. We're not just talking about hourly wages. We're also talking about insurance payouts and premiums that you got to pay, 401k, right? So once you start adding up all of these things, payroll is usually the biggest expense for a business. So if I brought you in to figure out how to reduce all of that, what's one of the things you're probably going to look at? AI technology, robotics, having something else do the work of many for a fraction of the cost. So this was inevitable, y'all. This was inevitable because as businesses scale up, they need to consistently find ways to not only cut costs, but increase production efficiently. This was inevitable. And it's not just Amazon. We've seen the headlines of other companies as well. So you already know Amazon issuing this warning and letting their people know this is just par for the course. They're saying they're expecting more layoffs come 2026. In other words, your job is not safe. Nobody's is. I should know. I've been laid off before. I've been let go before. I've been part of the layoff economy. Back when we had the pandemic, I was laid off in my job. So you're going to see a lot of companies quietly tightening their belts as we move forward. This should be a wake-up call for every single person watching this video, for every single person that has a standard corporate job, for everyone who isn't a multimillionaire already. Because if even a $1 trillion company like Amazon is talking about layoffs, then what does that mean for the rest of us? What does that mean for the rest of us? What does that mean for billion-dollar companies? What does it mean for multi-million-dollar companies? If a trillion-dollar company is talking about layoffs and a way to reduce the workforce, what does it mean for everyone else? It's always about the bottom line. Always. So what we're facing right now is a lot of uncertainty that's facing the job market, which is why you should be even more determined to build your finances, to build your savings accounts, to build your retirement accounts, to build your dividend accounts. This is serious. I made a video called I Want to Be My Own Bank. It's still true. I want to be my own bank. So with Amazon talking about internal cost cutting measures, the reports are saying some departments are preparing for layoffs up to 30,000 employees. We've seen this movie before. We've seen this movie before. We saw it with the auto industry, right? Hiring booms during good times, quickly followed by and succeeded by job cuts when the economy slows down. And again, it's not just Amazon, Meta, Google, even smaller companies have been quietly trimming off their teams. The pattern here is very, very clear. Job security is not guaranteed anymore in any field, especially the tech field, especially. And the hard truth is you can't control the economy. You can't control corporate decisions, and you can't control market cycles. You don't know what's going to happen from today to tomorrow. But what you can control is your financial preparedness. That's one of the things we have control over. And it starts with saving and investing wisely. I used to have a tagline at the end of my finance videos that said, remember to invest diligently, but more importantly, invest responsibly. Still holds true. More so now than ever before, right? So as we go forward and we talk about dividend stocks, the thing that I need people to understand is that a lot of people just stop. Most of y'all don't even save money. Most of you don't save. The people that do save, most people just stop there. They build up a few $1,000s or a couple $1,000s in a savings account. They feel safe because they feel like they got a cushion now, and they call it a day. Oh, I'm cool. I got a couple thousand saved up. I'm good. But let's be real. In 2025, with inflation still eating away at purchasing power, how much is that savings account really protecting you? How much protection can it really provide? With inflation going up through the roof, everything is costing more, from your groceries to getting your oil changed. Yes, it's important to have an emergency fund. The standard, they say, is 3 to 6 months, just in case you get laid off or fired. That's your safety net to at least hopefully help you get by and pay your rent and any other utilities and whatever other bills you have. But after that, you still need your money to work for you. Your money should be working for you, not you working for your money. This is in tandem. You need a hedge. And that's where investing in dividend investing, specifically in stocks, become a game changer. Because instead of your money sitting still and getting that little small percentage that the bank is willing to pay you in interest, you focus on building a more diverse account that's able to generate you funds at a quicker, faster rate and more consistently. And then guess what? You still have that money, assuming that the stocks that you have chosen are great stocks from great companies. You still have that if all else fails, you can go sell your shares. Hopefully it doesn't come to that, but that's an option. So let's talk about why I created this channel in the first place. Let's talk about dividends really quickly, and we're going to get out of here. I ain't going to be long. Dividend investing means you're buying shares in companies that regularly share their profits with the shareholder, you and I. These are usually stable, mature businesses. Now, some of the older ones like Johnson & Johnson, Procter & Gamble, Coca-Cola, PepsiCo, even ETFs like SCHD, VYM, VOO. These are all ticker symbols and companies that most of us know. If you've been in finance, you know about these already. But here's why these companies matter. And here's why you should look even further into finding more profitable businesses and opportunities to invest. You get paid just for holding these companies. These companies are going to send you a portion of their checks. They don't have to sell you on anything. You don't have to sell anything. You don't have to leave your home and go out to do anything extra. This is just money that you're getting just for holding it. And then once you hold it, you reinvest those dividends. You don't go spend that. You reinvest them every single time, every single month, every single quarter. You invest them. That's where your compound interest takes over. That's where compounding takes over, and that dividend snowball gets going, and all of a sudden you're building up wealth faster than you could even imagine. Find stable, reliable companies to invest in because your future may very well depend on it. Your financial future may very well depend on it, you all. Amazon is not safe. I heard people complaining about Amazon and their turnaround rate as far as employees go. Well, guess what? It's about to get a lot thinner. It's about to get a lot thinner in there. So if you have a stable job right now, I suggest you do everything in your power to keep it. And while you're keeping it and while you work that job every day, while you take up every ounce of overtime that you possibly can, you save and invest your money intelligently. And following this channel is going to help you do that. I appreciate y'all for watching. I'll see y'all in the next episode. Later, y'all. Be safe out there. Work those jobs. Don't be ashamed of a 9 to 5. It's going to make you rich. Later.